Hello, welcome once again. Today we will discuss the Smith chart. It is a mathematical way of solving the transmission line problems. Now, if we have to find out input impedance, style is used to find out the input impedance, and reflection coefficient gamma can be found out by using this formula ZL minus Z naught divided by ZL plus Z naught. Similarly, we can find out load impedance by using this formula. So these are the mathematical way of solving the transmission line problems. Now, in many cases, the solution involves radius manipulation. So, to ease the calculations, we can use graphical method that was introduced by P.H. Smith in 1940s. This is a very old method to solve the transmission line problems. So today we will discuss mathematics behind this Smith chart. It was started with the reflection coefficient. It is a basically graph between this reflection coefficient, real reflection coefficient, and the imaginary reflection coefficient. Okay. Now let us start. This gamma is equal to ZL minus R naught. Now see here there is some difference. Now here we use Z naught. Here we have written R naught. Now you know that we have already discussed it. Z naught is equal to R naught plus J X naught. And for the lossless transmission line, this term is 0. So for lossless transmission line, Z naught is equal to R naught. Therefore, we can say that this reflection coefficient gamma is for lossless transmission line. You can see my previous video where I have discussed lossless, low loss transmission line. Now here we have ZL minus R naught, ZL plus R naught. Okay. So in the Smith chart, all the impedances are normalized with respect to this characteristic resistance or characteristic impedance. Now this ZL is equal to RL plus JXL. This is divided by R naught to make it this small ZL. So that is RL divided by R naught plus JXL divided by R naught. So this factor RL divided by R naught is represented by small r, and this XL divided by R naught is by small x. Now you know that now this, if ZL is a combination of real plus imaginary, then we can say by using this formula we can write this reflection coefficient gamma is equal to gamma real plus J gamma imaginary. Now okay, so divide this numerator and denominator by R naught. So this R naught divided by R naught, this will be 1. This will be ZL divided by R naught, this will be 1. So this ZL divided by R naught is small ZL minus 1. So small ZL plus 1. This is, we can write like this. Okay. Now apply the component of dividendo. You can write ZL in terms of gamma. ZL is equal to 1 plus gamma, 1 minus gamma. This is very easy. So we can write like this. And just put the value of ZL here. What is ZL in terms of this R plus Jx? So R plus Jx is equal to, put the value of gamma. What is gamma? Gamma real plus J gamma imaginary. So putting this value, you will get this. This is very easy. These are the mathematical manipulations how this Smith chart was devised. Now this was the value. So here multiply and divide by this vector 1 minus gamma r plus j gamma imaginary divide by 1 minus gamma r plus j gamma imaginary. So when you multiply by and divide by this vector, so you will get here 1 plus gamma r 1 minus gamma r plus 1 plus gamma r into j gamma I plus 1 minus gamma r j gamma I plus j gamma I square divide by 1 minus gamma r square minus j gamma I square. So you will get this. Now after opening these brackets, you can just separate the real and imaginary term and comparing both sides. By comparing both sides, you can find out value of r and x. Comparing the real and imaginary term both sides, you can find out the value of r and x. So value of r will be r is equal to what? 1 minus gamma r square minus gamma I square divided by this vector. Okay, that will be j square. J square is minus 1, that will be positive here. Okay, similarly, and this is value of x is 2 gamma I. So let us rewrite this. So this is actually, this vector is x is equal to 2 gamma I 1 minus gamma I square plus, so this is not a gamma I, this is gamma r, gamma I square. Okay, the value of r and the value of x we have calculated. Now we can rearrange this value of this complete equation. So let us say this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. So let us start with the equation 1. Rearrange this equation. So perform some mathematical manipulations. These mathematical manipulations are 1 or 2 pages. So I will share those this mathematical manipulations with you. We are not going to do these mathematical manipulations here. I will write this result directly. So after some mathematical manipulations, equation 1 can be written as like this: gamma r minus r divided by r plus 1 whole square plus gamma I square is equal to 1 upon 1 plus r whole square. This is from the equation 1. So let us say this is equation 3. Now you can see this is the equation of a circle, and this circle is having radius. This is the radius 1 upon 1 plus r, and its center will be at gamma r is equal to r upon 1 plus r and gamma I is equal to 0. So this is the center, and you can see if we assume gamma r on the x-axis and gamma I on the y-axis, so these are the r circle for the different values of r. So this circle is for r is equal to 2, so r is equal to 1, r is equal to 0.5, and this larger circle is for r is equal to 0. If you put the r equal to 0 here, you get this larger circle, and this if you put r equal to infinity, so you get the point here. So we have several properties, and because this R is here, so this circle, this equation is R circle equation. Okay, so we have several properties of R circles. The first property is the center of R circle lies on gamma R axis. Okay, all the centers, you can see, you can extend this. You can see this is the center of this circle, and the center of this circle will be approximately here. So that center will be approximately here. Okay, so all the centers lies on gamma R axis. All centers for the circles, okay, lies on gamma R axis. The second property is for R is equal to 0, R is equal to 0 circle will have unit radius, you can say. Okay, for that this gamma is equal to 1. For R is equal to 0 circle and will have unit radius, and it is centered at origin, and you can say it is the largest circle. R is equal to 0 circle is a largest circle. All the circles will lie inside of this R is equal to 0 circle. You can also say that. Then the third property is, these properties are from this equation actually. Now as the value of R increases, okay, value of R increases from 0 to infinity. Value of R increases from 0 to infinity. These R circles become progressively smaller. You can see in this diagram, as the value of R increasing from 0 to infinity, so this is 0, you can see here this is 0. As the value of R increasing, so this, the size of the circle progressively decrease, progressively smaller, you can say. Now this point here, this is short circuit point, P short circuit, and this is open circuit, because at that point R is equal to infinity, and here at that point R is equal to 0, where it intersect this real gamma. Okay, we can say, we can mark that those points. And the last one and the fourth property of these R circles, all R circles passes, or you can say pass through, not passes, pass through that point, the point, where is the marker, pass through the point, this gamma R is equal to 1 and gamma I is equal to 0. This is the point. Gamma R is equal to 1 and gamma I is equal to 0. So these are the properties of R circles. You can see the all these So this is gamma. So R circle passes through gamma 1 point. This is a gamma 1 point here. Gamma R is equal to 1, and gamma 0. So here this is this line, complete line is gamma 0. So all these circle passes through. Gamma R is equal to 1 and gamma I is equal to 0. Now if we perform some mathematical manipulations on this equation 2, so this is equation 2. If we perform some mathematical manipulations, so we can write equation 2 as gamma R minus 1 square plus gamma I minus 1 upon x square is equal to 1 upon x square. So again, this is also a equation of circle, and these are called as x circles. So different value of x, we will have different circles like this. So here the value of x may be positive or negative. Now you can see here, if it is positive, it will remaining on the upper side of this axis, this gamma R axis, and this upper side is called as inductive reactance. Inductive reactance. If this value of x is negative, then it will remain on the lower, below this gamma R axis. So this is called as capacitive reactance. This is called as capacitive reactance. So now again here also we have some properties of these x circles. The first property is this center of all x circle lies on. You can see the first property is the center of x circles, the centers lies on, or you can say lie on. You can say this gamma R is equal to 1 and gamma I is equal to 1 upon x. So this is the center. You can say mod x because it may be positive or negative here. Value of x may be positive or negative. If it is positive, it will make a inductive load. If it is negative, it will make a reactive load. Inductive load, sorry. Okay, if it is positive, it will make a inductive load. If it is negative, it will make a capacitive load. So here the second property is the x is equal to 0, circle becomes the, when x is equal to 0, this is x is equal to 0, this complete line, this is also gamma R axis. So this x is equal to 0, circle becomes gamma R axis. This is again another property. Now the third one is the x circle become progressively smaller. Now here again the same property which we have seen in R circles. Now as this mod x, because this x may be negative or positive, so for this x, for x from 0 to infinity, I have this x varying from 0 to infinity, x circle becomes progressively smaller. You can say this is the 0, 0.5, 1, 2. Okay, so as you can say here, as x varies from, or you can say vary from 0 to infinity, x circles become progressively smaller. You can see by putting the value in this equation. Let us say this is equation 4. This is equation 4. And the fourth one is all the x circle passes through, gamma r is equal to 1 and gamma I is equal to 0. So all the circles, you can see gamma r is equal to 1. This is a point here. Okay, this is a point, and gamma I is 0. This is this complete axis where this gamma I is equal to 0. So this is all about the R circles and X circles. Now Smith chart is, this is the intersection of all these. We have R circles in Smith chart and Z circles too. We have R circles in Smith chart as well as X circles. So you can say this is the combination of R circles and X circles. So this is a Smith chart. You can see here there are lots of R circles and X circles, and this is the zoomed version of this. Now you can see here it is written wavelength towards generator. So this clockwise is wavelength towards generator. So the values are written here. This is 0, 0, 0.01, 0.08, 0.06. So the complete rotation, one rotation is of 0.5 lambda. Okay, wavelength towards. So this is this, let us say the complete one rotation is 0.5 lambda, because here 0.49 is written, 0.48, 0.49, and then 0. Then again one rotation. So one rotation is of 0.5 lambda. So clockwise rotation is wavelength towards generator, and anti-clockwise rotation, this rotation. Okay, wavelength towards load. Okay, so this direction, anti-clockwise is wavelength towards load. Again, the anti-clockwise direction is also this 0.5 lambda. Okay, now so these circles, the complete circle. Okay, this axis is, this is the center point. At the center point we have this circle, r is equal to 1, and this point here, this left point, extreme left, it is short circuit point, because here r is equal to 0, and this complete circle, the complete circle is r is equal to 0 circle, short circuit. And here this point, extreme right, it is P open circuit, P open circuit point. And you can see the point going, the circle going above this axis is inductive reactance, give inductive reactance, that may be taken as positive, and the below ones is may be taken as negative. Here angle is also given. Now you can see here angle of reflection coefficient in degrees. So angle is also given here. Let us try to solve some problem. Now let us say this is question 1. use Smith chart to find out input impedance of a section of a 50 ohm lossless transmission line which is 0.1 wavelength long and is terminated in a short circuit. It is given here. This is a transmission line and which is short circuited here. So ZL is equal to 0 and the length of the transmission line is 0.1 of wavelength, 0.1 lambda, total length of the wavelength, total length of the transmission line. This is when we input and the input impedance is Z input, Zi, and the characteristic impedance is Z naught, which is equal to R naught. Here it is given that input impedance is 50 ohm lossless transmission line, so that's why we have written here R naught is equal to 50, because for the lossless transmission line Z naught is equal to R naught. Now you have to find out input impedance. So for that particular problem, you know that this is the point of, this is the P short circuit point, so mark that point here, and here extreme left is P open circuit. Now the length of the, now here you can see the diagram, we have the load impedance. To find out this input impedance, we have to go towards the generator. So in this direction we have to go towards the generator, because this is a generator. So wavelength towards the generator we have to go 0.1 lambda. So here we already discussed it, the clockwise direction. This is the wavelength towards generator, so we will go 0.1 lambda. So here is a 0.1 lambda, and this will, we are going on this R is equal to 0 circle. This outer circle is R is equal to 0. So here is 0.1 lambda. Okay, this is 0 0, this is 0.01, 0.02, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here is 0.1 lambda. So join that point and mark that point here. On this point here R is equal to 0, so find out the value of that point. At that point, because this is R is equal to 0 circle, so value of R is 0, but we can have the value, this value of X, as this is above of this gamma R axis, so the load is inductive. You can see here, this is 0.7, this is 0.8, this is 0.8 here, this is 0.7. So this point is approximately X is equal to 0.725. Therefore normalized input impedance is 0 plus j 0.725, and if you want to find out Zi, you have to multiply with characteristic impedance, so 50 into j 0.725. Input impedance is approximately equal to, if you multiply it with 50, 36.3 ohm. This is the input impedance. Now let us solve one other problem to understand the Smith chart better way. A lossless transmission line of length 0.434 lambda. This is a slightly complex problem now, and the characteristic impedance is what is given now. So we can write here, given, what is given, length of transmission line is equal to 0.434 lambda. This is the length, and what is the characteristic impedance? This is R naught is equal to 100 ohm. This is the characteristic impedance. and terminated in an impedance. Terminated means load impedance is given 260 plus J 180. So it implies that you need to find out small ZL, divide this whole by characteristic impedance, so that will be equal to 2.6 plus J 1.8. This is the normalized load impedance. So first step is mark that ZL on the Smith chart. So again move to the same Smith chart. Here we can mark it very easily. Now we have to mark point 2.6 plus J 1.8. So these are the circles, and this is the circle of 2.6. This is the circle of x 1.8. So this is the intersection. This is 1.8 actually here. This is 1.8, and this is the intersection here. And this is what? This is R is equal to 2.6. So this point, we have marked this point P2. This point is 2.6 plus 1.8. So we have taken this x 1.8 and R 2.6. Intersection point will give you P2. Now join this with the origin and take a compass and make a circle. As this circle is drawn, now extend this point towards this wavelength. Now again output impedance is given, we have to go towards generator. So mark the wavelength. Here you can see the wavelength is 0.22 lambda. So we have to travel how much distance? We have to travel this 0.434 lambda to go to the input impedance. To find up the input impedance, we have to travel this 0.434 lambda. We are at 0.22 lambda. So the complete rotation is of 0.5 lambda. So somewhere here, from that point, this is the point. So this point to this direction is of wavelength towards. So this circle, this from that point to this point, it is 0.434 lambda. So join this point with the origin, and where this line intersect with will give you the input impedance. So mark that point, find out the value. This is the circle. This will give value of x. This circle will give you value of r. So here the intersection, this point, if you want to write this point, so you can write this point is 0.6, value of r is 0.6, and value of no, this is not a 0.6. Okay, this is 0.69 actually, 0.69, and the value of x is 1.2 plus J 1.2. So if you need to find out simple value, you have to multiply with 100. So it will give us input impedance. Input impedance will have a value 69 plus J 120. This is the input impedance. Now we also need to find out what voltage reflection coefficient. This is very easy. You can find out. So this axis will give you the voltage reflection coefficient. So measure, put a scale here measure this length. Let us say this is A and this is P short circuit point here. Measure this OP short circuit. How much centimeter is this from that P short circuit to that O? And also measure this OA if this point is A. So measure this length. Okay, measure this length. Now divide this OA length with OPSC. That will give you a reflection coefficient that is equal to 0.6 for that particular case, as the maximum value is 1 here. If both the value are same, then the maximum value is 1. Now you can also find out standing wave ratio directly here where it is intersecting. So that point will give you the standing wave ratio, because this point, the left hand side, will give you the reflection coefficient. You can say here it will give you the standing wave ratio. And you can also use the formula. We have a relation between standing wave ratio and the reflection coefficient. You can use that formula. So this is how we can find out the reflection coefficient.